What's going on, guys? Ultra Stasio here with flightpath.com. Now in this video, I'm going to give you guys a quick first look at the new GPC or Go Professional Cases. This one is of course for the DJI Ronin-S. And if you guys are new to my channel, I do a lot of drone tech, photography, tips, tutorials, as well as product reviews. So if that's something that interests you, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell to be notified when I post new videos. So when you purchase your DJI Ronin, it comes in a foam case like this, and everything inside, of course, is cut to fit all of the pieces perfectly in here in the most compact way. So as you can see, it's precisely cut. It's actually really nice. But the one downfall that this case has is that if you ever want to repack it in here, just like most factory things, it's going to be very difficult because of the fact you have to actually reposition it back to the way that they had it, which of course would be the most compact size. But if you've balanced your camera, and then if you had to take it off and put it back in here, now you're kind of unbalancing all the arms now. And then once you take it back out, you're gonna have to rebalance it all over again. So even though this case is really good to have and store, it's not really as optimal to have in the field, because once you pull it back out and you hook your camera back up, you're gonna have to rebalance everything all over again from the beginning, because you basically have to collapse this thing all the way back down to the smallest size. So the one thing that's really good about what GPC did, and as you can see here with the size of the case, they actually made one that's pretty comparable in size. I mean, when you look at the how the height and the width is, they are very similar. The only thing that's of course different is how tall it is. So it is about, I'd say about 3 inches taller than the factory case. And the reason why they have to give that a little bit more room is that this case is meant to be able to store your Ronin and keep all of those balance settings on there. You of course have to remove the legs and the tripod, but at least the gimbal itself will stay balanced inside of the case. You don't have to readjust all those arms. So let me quickly go through with you the case itself, as well as how the configurations and how you're able to store all the accessories as far as what comes with your DJI Ronin-S inside of this case. Now GPC actually sent me this case just to do a first look on it, and if you guys aren't familiar with GPC, they are a very well-known company as far as making cases for drones as well as tech. So they use the industry standard hard cases that allow you to have double latching systems here on the front. You're able to lock it if you wanted to add like a padlock or zip ties here, so if you're in transit and you wanted to make sure it's a little bit more secure. All weather casing of course has the ridges all the way around. 1.5 or 2 inch egg crate foam up top. Just a well-built case that you want to use if you're going to be traveling a lot. This will be banged around if you're going to be stacking a lot of other cases on or around it. Just a pretty standard hard case to use for your DJI Ronin-S. Now it was nice to see that, like I mentioned, as far as size goes compared to the factory one, was that it was only a little bit taller, and hearing that you're able to keep the configuration or keep the balance of your camera intact while you're traveling with it was a really nice thing. And one thing I didn't know was that you're able to actually hold a camera gear. So they had more slots in here to allow you to carry your camera. So if you have an extra lens you want to put right here, you have another lens here at the bottom, as well as a couple batteries. And then also they have this cavity here to hold something like a mirrorless camera. I believe it's rated to hold things like a Canon 80D or the GH5 body, as well as all the Sony bodies, the A7R, the A7S2, as well as the A7 III. If you just want to hold the body alone, you put the body here, you put lenses here. And of course it doesn't accommodate everything. It'll probably hold a couple prime lenses or a pretty standard wide angle lens. But I mean, if you're doing like some telephoto, of course those won't fit in here, but it does fit pretty standard lenses here in the bottom, as well as a cavity here right on the side. Now this plate will of course be on the camera itself. So the one thing you do have to remove on this thing will be the plate. So once you have the plate separated, all you do is slide that in here. You of course have your accessories pouch that'll go in this slot right over here. Now when it comes down to the gimbal itself, like I said, you can actually keep the whole top part balance, or keep it the way it is, so you don't have to readjust it to fit it into the case. What you have to do though is take off your tripod, take off the handle that slips here. Now let's put the gimbal head in here, and like I mentioned, this is actually adjusted and positioned to be balanced with my Sony a7 III with a 28-75 on there. But you know, the arms and everything is positioned the way it is. You don't have to collapse it back down to the factory setting, you know, the most compact setting that you would if you had to put it back into the factory case. So once you have the gimbal itself, all you do is slide it in here. And once you do this a couple times, you'll figure out exactly the best way to position it in here. But what's nice is that they have these foam pads here at the bottom. So depending on how your gimbal is set up, the gimbal head itself might be sitting either really low or sitting really high. So it just depends on how it's set up. Your positioning of the head might change. It might shift this way or that way, or your arm might be extended out all the way here. So what they have is these extra pads here, so that if your arm and the head here is positioned a little bit differently, it's sitting up a little bit higher. They give you a bunch of pads to add here as cushion for you to put right below, just to make sure that when you are traveling, there's no strain on the arm. It's all balanced out and positioned properly within the case. Now here it is. This is how the gimbal sits within the case. Everything is nice and foam padded and protected. And depending on the way your gimbal is adjusted here, if it's a little bit sitting up a little bit higher, you can use those foam inserts that they give you. There's a little bit extra room. And depending on how your gimbal was balanced out, you might need that extra room here because the arm might be pushed in one direction or the other a little bit more. So this is meant to hold a bunch of different types of configurations. That's why there's a little bit more room here for it to sit. Comparing this to the factory case, this of course is probably the one that's just the most compact while keeping your gimbal still in its balanced position. And now I've seen a few other cases out there, but they are, I'd probably say, almost twice the size of this one, mostly because they're just standard big cases that they keep the they'll keep the handle on it, they'll keep the tripod on it, which is cool and it makes things a lot faster. But as far as like compact goes, I think this is the first one I saw that's actually, somewhat compact for transporting your DJI Ronin-S and maintaining the balanced gimbal on top of it without having to fully carry around like a big old luggage style type of case. So there it is, guys. Just a very quick video, first look at the new GPC Go Professional Cases for your DJI Ronin-S. And as always, guys, if you guys got some value from my video, don't forget to hit that like button, and like I mentioned earlier, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell to be notified when I post new videos. This is Ultra Stasio with flightpath.com. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.